is family game night, and I thought I would take you guys along. Before we go, we need to sort out this hair and we need to talk about bras. He just vacuumed and he immediately does this. Hey.
Yeah, but are you really sure
that it's your turn?
No, that is. I'm trying to figure out which blank I wanted to lead with.
Oh,
yeah.
She's got so many options.
But
yeah.
did you want to? Yeah.
Why do you have to lead with that one?
Because it used the most pips.
Yeah.
Pips.
Does that make sense?
We're not supposed to make sense.
Mago?
Was I supposed to use this one?
Yes.
She just really found you up, didn't she?
She did.
You want to take Mexican three?
Oh, wait.
You have time. Nobody's played.
Yeah, okay. I was so obsessed with 9s.
9!
No. You didn't take that as an act of kindness and love?
You got a 5 over here.
Thanks.
I know.
Oh.
I told you were going to need that.
Do something about that.
There's not much you can do.
Can you put that on the train?
Oh, yeah, I better start counting now, huh? I'm not going to have another turn.
Unless
You had a
make
turn that mattered though.
Unless you make it work, you can't play.
But I can finish on my own turn.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
What she's saying is, this is a sure thing. Y'all are doomed.
The end.
Yay!
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
7. If you'd like, I can play a rejuvenating guided meditation every morning. Would you like to enable this routine?
Happy Sunday. I just heated up Kevin's Thai coconut chicken soup. They come in like these little pouches and they're so great, especially if you're somebody who's gluten and dairy free and you find it's hard to find something like easy and maybe picky stomach friendly. I'm gonna have this for lunch and then I think we're just gonna take it. Today's gonna be quite cozy. I originally planned a good hot yoga this morning, but I actually pushed that to tomorrow night just so I could get my hair washed another day before I absolutely ruined it. But also I wanted to have a bit more of a chill morning, so we might get in a run today. We have some little things to do today, but I'm also really trying to like actually force myself to take it easy because there's so many things that I could always do, and putting myself in that position of being like, can you sit still, is a challenge for me. We do have 2 rewatch series that are kind of going on the channel. You've seen them probably in shorts. Currently rewatching Gilmore Girls and currently rewatching Bridgerton. I don't know if I will do that today. Gilmore Girls is a little bit more focused on just healing and looking at my inner childhood a little bit more, looking at the relationship dynamics between mother and daughter and the stuff that maybe I didn't have an outside perspective to have conversations on when I was younger. We've been talking a little bit about that in short content, and then of course the Bridgerton rewatch. As you guys have seen, I need to post another video about that, and I don't know if I'll do it today or not. Normally I take Mondays off, but it might be that Sunday is my off day. It's one of those just fluid things depending on the week. So love this soup. Quite grateful to just have a bit of cozy time. And yeah, I might not check in for the rest of the day just because I might not have all that much to say. We'll see how it goes. I'm really trying to teach myself how to be slow, and I find it very challenging. Good morning, guys. It is the next day. Popping a little Topo Chico in our hydro jug. It ended up taking me a while to turn my brain off yesterday. There's such a difference in having like 11 and a half ounces versus 12 ounces with this, because it changes the height difference. So I have to say the 12 ounce is a little bit more comfortable. This 11 and a half ounce drink, you almost need to have a straw. But the raspberry lemon Topo Chico is one of my go-tos. So anyways, I didn't end up having as much of a break yesterday as I thought I would. In the normal sense for me, sometimes it's gonna take me a while to turn my brain off, and it definitely was one of those days. So it was probably about 6 p.m. before I finally found a task where my brain was like, okay, I can turn off. I started Quantum Leap last night. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I am taking some time to get ready for the day. We are using this Prequel Mineral SPF today. I have to say I'm still kind of dabbling in all of the things just because I want to be more updated on what is like budget friendly in my routine so I can have references for you guys. And I like it. I still think the Laneige one is my favorite, but as far as stuff that's easier to get locally, we did finally get a Sephora. I feel like this is not too bad, and I tend to like prequel. I don't know how this would work though if you're an oily skin girl, but I did book in for hot yoga later today. I need to film a video before I go, and then I'm sure I'll film something while we're watching tonight. We're in the middle of Bridgerton rewatch if you've been keeping up with shorts content, and I really need to update the perspective from which I am doing this rewatch. It's taken me a couple of days to kind of figure it out, mostly because I didn't realize that I needed to kind of help other people have blinders with this to teach you to view it with this specific lens. So that will be up way before this vlog goes live. I will link it for you in the description box. But I do have hot yoga tonight. I want to get a blog post written and then we'll probably get it posted tonight. It's been requested for a while and I just haven't gotten to it. Writing a guide for people who want to do their bachelorette on 30A. But because I have hot yoga tonight, maybe like 12 o'clock right now, I know last time I did hot yoga, I went to wipe my face with a towel and I could just see everything coming off. So I'm trying to find the happy medium between like giving myself a little bit of coverage and a little bit of color and not having so much that it's just simply going to come off because we're not shooting any photos today. So there's a little bit more leeway. When I want to have just like a lighter coverage day, I feel like this is the great base. Say by itself, I don't want to mix with SPF because then that's going to dilute my protection. The Hourglass is actually quite thick coverage for me. I couldn't use it under my eyes. It's just too much. But the Tower 28 is like a good dupe for the Armani concealer for me. And these tend to just work when I don't want as much. But I do feel like things have obviously changed. I've taken a couple of months off from creating the vlog because I didn't really know what we were going to do next, if I'm honest. I felt really kind of lost in this journey. I don't know if I want to say lost, but I just feel like the way influencing and content creation has happened for me has been very different than other people I have watched. And that's totally fine. I know that like when you're kind of going on any journey, especially with this one, the way that you get to do it is ultimately about doing what's best for you. And I'm so grateful for the different things that I've gotten to experience as we've gone along. But I really just felt like what I needed, I felt like I was at a stuck point with what I needed to feel like I could actually succeed with the vlog versus now it feels like we're kind of ready to have a new experience with content. Like I said, I wanted to kind of ask you guys because I felt like I found a new experience with reading and content consumption and just what I feel like I do and don't want to watch. And something that I love doing on the book talk side of things is there are so many books that I want to read, but I either know that they're not right for me right now, or I only have so much time that I can kind of read and watch because I am creating, I am consuming, I am traveling, I am being a human. Like there's only so many things. So I love just kind of getting that experience from somebody else because it's probably not necessarily going to be the right thing for me, but they love it and I get to kind of experience through them either reading or watching. And so with this, I have a lot of ideas for how I want to kind of go forward and what I feel like ultimately will come from having the vlog, but I'm curious to know what would be helpful for you guys to see. And I think we're just gonna have to create this. I don't want to say that I'm the first to do this because I know that I'm not, but I feel like the version that we're creating is different than what I've potentially previously gone onto the internet to seek out when it comes to this stuff. There's always the videos that are like breaking down trailers or doing like the intentional rewatches, but something that like this, I feel like we're kind of leaning a little bit closer to book talk, and I love that because it really just ends up being about you feel like you get to experience something even if you don't have the time for it. Sometimes I really love that when I'm just like, I don't have the time to read, but I miss feeling the joy of reading, and I can go listen to somebody's book vlog and it feels like I've gotten all of the joy that I would experience without like maybe some of the downsides of it, without maybe some of the triggers that I didn't need. I've still gotten to have that kind of fun while I've let other things be bigger on my plate at that time. So let me know your thoughts and feelings. There will still be fashion content because I'm always going to create that, but I am not so much into fashion trends as much as I am into just building a lifetime of clothing that I love and then sprinkling in the trends that feel like they suit me as we kind of go. I've already started kind of shopping for my fall stuff. There will be throwing fake beauty blenders all over the place. There will probably be an update in this week's newsletter. I will drop the link to read it in the description box below of what is on my fall kind of fashion vision board, what I'm already seeing as kind of the primary style that I lean into this fall. But if you feel like we have the opportunity to create something unique with this space. So I'm curious to know what you guys want to see, what you're curious about, what you feel like you would benefit from. You know, let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna finish getting ready. I need to film my short content this morning, but then I will come back to you and we will talk about what is on my list to watch for fall and what I'm recommending, because my taste for fall is a little bit different. Okay, so let's talk about fall rewatches, because I feel like this is the time of year where I want more vampire romances. I don't know. Do we have that many werewolf romances? The first thing that comes to mind in my head is Teen Wolf, which I love. It wasn't on the top of my list to rewatch this year because I feel like I always want something specific when I go for that. There are a lot of shows that kind of fall into that category for me, where there's either I'm looking for comedy, I'm looking to revisit a specific story. There's certain shows where there's just really distinct elements for me, and so kind of paralleling that. Vampire Diaries and Originals, I know a lot of people will talk about it. I'm just gonna give this disclaimer, and I might have to give it again. I've worked on both of those shows, and so for me the experience of watching them tends to remind me of things that I've already achieved. So they're less about an escape or just kind of watching a show for me. It's something that I'd definitely be willing to revisit. We've obviously got so much content, so many things. There's only so much that we can consume at one time, but those tend to be shows that I have very distinctive connections and memories with, so they're less likely to be something that I talk about more often. If there's something we decide that feels like it's time to be a rewatch, we can kind of come back to it. My fall shows of the moment, things that are going to be new and kind of airing on TV, High Potential and 911. I will watch those when they kind of start back again. I'm really enjoying High Potential. 911 at this point I'm watching because I feel like the fandom is so strong that I'm in it to kind of hope for that they get the version of this reality that they want to see, if that makes any sense. Like, I had a couple of shows that I watched last year aren't shows that normally fit the standard of my television shows. I don't tend to go for reality TV. I don't tend to go for anything that is like medical or those style dramas. I ended up down a very niche rabbit hole last year, and it's kind of carried over because I've really fallen in love with the fandom. I feel like it's kind of almost like the Swiftie side of things. Like, once you watch everybody love this show, it's more about watching how they interact with their love for it that I find so fascinating. So that will be on the list. 3 shows that I feel like are worth a rewatch or a first watch if you've never seen them this year. Orphan Black, it finally is on Netflix. I have been telling everybody to watch the show for literal years. I think I started watching it over a decade ago. It was at some point in time I accidentally discovered it between some work break when I was still living in Atlanta, and it was still on BBC America at the time. So it was a really weird niche to kind of discover. I would have never found it if it wasn't for streaming. It was on Amazon Prime for a while, and then they took it away, and I don't know who's had the rights for distribution streaming wise until it just landed on Netflix. And it's such a show where you might watch and be like, I don't know if I like the concept of this, because they're talking about clones and like there's that weirder sci-fi kind of element. If anything, I don't feel like that was ever why I decided to watch it. It was very much Tatiana Maslany, because she just kills it. Watching her come into a scene as one woman playing so many different versions of herself or so many different versions of these people, and then watching her having to like layer these people on top of each other, it's really such a lesson in the subtleties of acting and directing and kind of storytelling and creation in that elevated way, in ways where they're not doing anything crazy with special effects. Like, this really leans heavily on the story, her ability to act and really create it, and the co-creation with the people that she's in scenes with, and her scene partner who helps her kind of fill in the gaps when there's more than one clone in a scene. It's just, if you're somebody who actually enjoys storytelling and like the experience of watching stories and TV and like really well done TV, it's something that you need to watch. I tell everybody to watch it, especially my friends in film, especially my friends who are actors who haven't seen it. I'm like, you need to watch this show. And then they always love it, like every time. Speaking of shows that I tell everybody to watch, Discovery Witches. it's one of those that I feel like people have watched, but I'm kind of trying to give you guys more stuff that's on Netflix, although I know that not everybody has Netflix. So let me know in the comments if there's a specific platform that you tend to watch from. I will see if I can like look into more. I kind of have everything as a default of this job because I need to be aware of what's going on, and I don't have press screeners for everything, so it's just easier for me to be able to like actually watch all of the stuff. But I would recommend the book series and the TV shows for this. The book series was something that I think I read after the first season came out. And this was one of those shows that it's kind of odd in the sense that it was a Sky TV show. So they aired it originally in the UK. Brit fans, I know you're on this channel. Let me know if I'm wrong about this. But it originally aired over there and then we got it over here. And I was very naughty and I would find the seasons online before we would get them aired in the US because we would get them months after, at least after season 1. But what happened between season 1 was great, season 2 was really solid, season 3 you can tell that they tried to navigate it during COVID. There was stuff that they left out from season 2 that they should have continued in season 3. There were elements that I kind of wonder if they would have done differently had they not been so restricted on how they could shoot season 3, because in the book there's a lot more travel from the UK back to the US and then they go to New Orleans, and there's a lot more of these elements of this, and I imagine that maybe we would have done that differently had we not had to deal with all of the other things going on in the world. But there's stuff that they just cut out in season 3 and it's not my favorite, which makes me kind of sad because it was such a good show. It was such a good adaptation. They did a really good job with it. So season 1 and 2, love. Season 3, I like it. Maybe watch it and then read the book so that you can appreciate it before you're like, hey, what the hell? But would recommend both, or would recommend all of it. But I will say, if you read the books, they're quite long, and I think the audiobooks are like 24 hours. I haven't listened to them, but I do have it like linked in Spotify, and I might do a re-listen. And then The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I haven't watched that in a while. It popped up in my scrolling of like stuff that's exclusively on Netflix. And I feel like that and maybe the first season of Riverdale are always kind of a good niche watch. If you don't necessarily want something that's vampire-y, you don't necessarily want something that's werewolfy, but you like something that's a little more sci-fi or feels a little bit more like Halloween-y, those kind of fit in for that. I feel like there's a lot of shows that are more sci-fi that I kind of watch throughout the year, like Star Trek Strange New World is something that I'm watching right now. I am currently watching Quantum Leap. I talked about that a little bit earlier. I started it last night, and I'm very much the person who follows the rule of I give every show 3 episodes before I decide if I'm done with it. A lot of times, if a show is actually gone on a few seasons, I will go in and maybe watch the pilot, or I will go in and watch the first 3 episodes of season 3 to see if I actually want to stick with it, because by then everybody's really established in the world. Pilots are different now in the sense that a lot of times they don't necessarily just do the pilot, they shoot the first 10 episodes, and so there's not that weird kind of this is the world that we're giving you, and then we get to season 2, we get to episode 2, and like it feels like everything is changed about it because they've now decided to actually put money into this. But that being said, the Quantum Leap pilot was strong enough that I was like, all right, I'm actually intrigued with this, like I will keep going on this journey. And then of course we are doing our Gilmore Girls rewatch. There's so many shows that I could actually recommend, so let me know in the comments below if there's something that like you guys are rewatching. Like, what are you guys currently having a moment with? I feel like everybody's kind of in their era of something different. Some girls are in their Vampire Diaries era. I feel like some girls are just now discovering it, which I kind of love for them. I know that there are girls who are younger than me that are either have never watched One Tree Hill, absolutely love One Tree Hill, or getting ready to kind of start watching it, and that's a show that I will have to circle back to at some other point. It's on the list, but I feel like I have a hard time, and I feel like other people feel this way too, but there's been so many stories that have come out about different shows and the working environments with it, and I feel like as somebody who has been on set and been with crews and knows some of the people who've worked on some of these shows, but also some of the people who just, you know, the version of it, even if you don't know that show, you know another version of it, and I really, it takes away from my ability to love it. Realize that it was just a horrible experience for them making it, and that kind of challenges how I feel like I'm allowed to experience it, because I guess that's just empathy in that way. So One Tree Hill is one of those where I'm like, I really hate that especially for the time that the show was made and for the showrunner and for all of the things that happened with it, I hate how this is really had such a lasting effect on them. But I do appreciate that, you know, it seems like all of the girls have really done the most that they could to kind of take back and reclaim what they want to remember from the show. So maybe we'll get back to that again, but let me know in the comments below what you guys are rewatching, because I feel like there's so much out there, and yet it all comes down to like watching the right thing at the right time, and we could literally babble about it for ages. And of course we're watching The Summer I Turned Pretty. There's 2 more episodes, and I might end up doing just an entire video kind of on this later. Maybe we'll do like a full video, or we'll do little snippets. I said I didn't want to really do a deep dive on it until I could see how they were really intentional with it. I don't want to judge choices until it feels like I have the full perspective on it. Partly because it doesn't make me a better storyteller, a better future producer or director. I want to, you know, understand where the groundwork was laid and where maybe we needed to see something different that we weren't seeing while you were shaping it, kind of a thing. It's more of a growth aspect in my brain, but I am enjoying the show, so I'm sure we can talk about it a bit more.